What is up, everybody? My name is Josh Recording, also known as ThatRouch Form on the internet, and here are my impressions of Ronin. It's a Steam early access game, but before I actually show you the edited version of everything, I just want to say really quick that the game is being updated. It is an early access game, by the way. I say that in the review, so it's being updated, it's being tuned, finely tuned, getting better. I just played it today to get the actual video for you guys, the actual gameplay, and the game is somewhat better than the last time I played it when I wrote up this, when I did the VO. So, which is good, which is very good. So the game is still, I think, what I'm going to say, it's, spoilers, a little rough. It could be really good, and I'm seeing it getting really good. So I'm really excited to see that. So I want to say that before, give developer credit where it's due. But yeah, this is my impressions, this is what I thought about it. Hope you enjoy. I'm a sucker for weird games. That's just a fact about me. I've grown up with the most generic shooters and puzzle games you can ever imagine. So when I finally found my way and started branching out my interest in video games, I became enamored with games of the strange variety. One of the best publishers helping to contribute to the world of eccentric video games is the wonderful Devolver Digital, the publisher of such games as Hotline Miami and Hatoful Boyfriend, which are both very peculiar games in their own right. Devolver Digital's new published game is entitled Ronin. The game is a PC exclusive and it's on early access right now. Developed by one person, Ronin is this very abnormal amalgamation of almost polar opposite genres with action, platforming, and turn-based all being fused into the game's DNA. Surprisingly, Ronin keeps this idea fresh for a decent portion of its playtime. I finished the game in about 8 hours. The way Ronin creates this type of genre Frankenstein's monster is not without its quirks, however. The entire game revolves around one mechanic: jumping. Sure, that might describe most platformers like Mario or Crash Bandicoot, but Ronin tries to make it a tad more complex and interesting by relying on aiming your jumps using jump arcs. Aiming with either the mouse or thumbstick on a controller, on the fly you can point to where you want the character to jump to. The way it works is that time freezes and you have a chance to line up your move. This idea then transfers directly into the gameplay. The majority of the turn-based moves you're going to be making is jumping related, trying to avoid fire in the line of sight of your enemies and get close to them so you can take them out with your katana. The entirety of the combat consists of you trying to avoid the gaze and aiming of the enemies. While it might sound pretty simple, the addition of a few enemies add a level of complexity, forcing the players to actually think about their moves and actions, creating what could be described as a chess-like experience, demanding extreme accuracy and thought. And that's where it all goes wrong. See, there's nothing wrong with a game demanding accuracy from the player, but when the game's mechanics just can't provide that pinpoint accuracy, then there's a huge, massive problem. The idea of jump arcs are really simple and seem straightforward, but somehow Ronin finds a way to make them very convoluted. For some odd reason, the game almost prides itself on having an inaccurate and completely misleading jump arc, with constantly flashing tip, "The jump arc is a lie." I don't really see this as a gameplay feature, but more as a major flaw. Countless times have I pointed my aim to the side of a wall and been thrusted way past my aim for absolutely no reason. The simple idea of where the jump arc points you land, for some reason isn't canon in this game. It's weird, but it would be fine if the game were blatantly consistent, but it's not. Jumping accuracy is extremely wishy-washy and all over the place, working about 60% of the time correctly. Especially since just one bullet kills, the inaccuracy of the gameplay feeds into a well of endless unjustified death. I do feel like the inaccurate jumping mechanic only became a severe problem later on in the game because of the large volume of enemies on each screen. Before that, however, the game did have room for mistakes, but as soon as enemies like the machine gunner were added, the entire game became way harder than the mechanics could ever justify. Ronin is in early access right now and could change, but from what it sounds like from a bunch of tweets that I saw from the developer, it seems like it isn't really going to change drastically. But I feel like it really definitely needs a lot of change. About halfway through the game, I just stopped having fun. Ronin became a chore to play, and every jump became a frustrating random event. While I do feel like Ronin has a great base, and the cool and quirky art style is awesome, the game doesn't really evolve further than that. In its current state, Ronin is definitely a game to try when on sale, but at its current $13 price point in early access, it needs a lot of changes and polishing in order to make the entire game as fun to play as the first few hours and to justify a purchase. As for a story, Ronin really tells a nearly non-existent one. The game opens with a Polaroid picture that sends you on a mission to one by one kill each person in the photo. I don't know how much more story will be added to the game when it officially releases out of early access, but right now, it's really disappointing. I feel like there's so much room for something more than a superficial kill each person with no motive storyline here. The most surprising thing that Ronin does is at the ending, it tries to act like it was telling you a deep story and features multiple endings and dialogue. But after playing for more than 8 hours with absolutely no story or inkling of it, the different endings can't save the story. Overall, I do feel like this is a really good start for an early access game, but I sincerely hope that they make the decision to stay in the early access state a bit longer and to finally tune the game, because it has potential, but it needs community feedback to grow into an actually good game. The base idea of the combat and the turn-based system is extremely cool and innovative, but it falls short after it lacks precision and evolution. Same goes for the story. This isn't a bad game, just one that is in desperate need of depth and evolution to take it out of the mediocre category. I recommend to anyone who wants to maybe try Ronin to download the demo first on their Steam page, but realize the gameplay doesn't change much from the trial. Yep, so those are my impressions of Ronin. Early access, as I said a million times, this game is changing, and I see it. It's palpable. All the changes that are happening, and they have a bunch of updates going on their Steam page. I see it happening. I see the community reacting to them, and I see the community actually updating for them with bugs and, things to do and things to change, and they're actually doing things. Very excited to see where this game is going to be when it actually releases around a month from now. So yeah, early access. Check it out if you want to, if it looks interesting to you. Right now it's a little bit rough, as you can see by my review, but I do have a feeling that it's going to become something better. But right now, in the state that it is, it's a pretty rough game. But that shouldn't deter you from at least trying the demo and maybe seeing for yourself if you might like it or not. So, talking about if you like it or not, do you like this review? Do you like what I said? Do you like how I did it? Tell me in the comments below. Tweet at me at RajFormer, RajFormer.com. Find all my stuff there. Cool. So yeah, see you guys on the flip side.